Good evening, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It's 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. We're talking about the graph. This is not financial advice. The video is intended for educational purposes only. Stay up to date with my latest videos by clicking the subscribe button, as well as if you want to stay in tune with my intraday updates. I haven't been tweeting a lot, but when I do, they're meaningful. Hit me up on twitter.com. The link's in the description below. All right, current position on the graph, clearly way above where the graph is trading right now. So I am down. I haven't done the math, but I definitely know it's at least 40 to 50% down in that range. Now, a lot has been going on, driven across the board. We're talking altcoins, we're talking Bitcoin, we're talking whatever coin you want to pick it. If you're going to tell me, oh, well, there was that 1 in a million that went up 30%, well, those are going to be the micro caps. I don't want to deal with that because if I put $5 into it, I don't want to move the market 100%. So here's the story, right? I'm thinking of potentially putting in more than the 100% I originally allocated to the graph. I think I'm going to have to put another 50% down into it and augment my risk exposure to the graph token. Now, let's just run straight into the markets, but before doing so, let's just understand these components that make up the price. Bitcoin has been under pressure. This is the right side of the X, the time symbol. That's what's been under pressure, very much so. The inner strength, which is the graph Bitcoin, has also been under pressure, but let me tell everyone a point in fact here. Benchmarks drive more fear in the smaller cap world than in the larger cap world. Well, what does that mean? Benchmark Bitcoin. Take a look at that. It goes down 5%. It would create a lot more fear in something like the graph relative to Bitcoin or the inner strength. And it's just the way of life, right? Look everywhere. Look at the Russell 2000. Look at the Dow. These things go down, but then all the smaller ones get demolished. Well, it's not that different here. The other thing to note is that we also are looking at, even if Bitcoin spikes very quickly, the initial reaction of the graph would be to go backward, right? Before it starts returning to the upside. So, a very volatile benchmark Bitcoin could also drive the graph down. So you just be aware of that. In all cases, it could go down with a major move in the benchmark. But as we will see, the benchmark being stronger is way better than where it is right now, specifically around dominance. But we're going to get into that. I don't want to rush into it just yet. So let's just take a look at the graph relative to dollar. I had to redraw some charts here. I'm looking at a downwards from April, mid-April. We are seeing this downward resistance line. The longer term the resistance line, the more compelling it is. And we're still above this 42-cent handle. We're at 49 cents right now. So, look, I think we might have some other breathing room on the downside. I don't want to make that call, but I think that as we'll see through time, this thing will eventually resolve itself. And where will it resolve itself? Well, we all know that as we look through these kind of converging trend lines, that converging trend lines generally will figure a way out towards making its way towards, an upward or downward trend. I don't know why I can't seem to move this line. I'll figure that out later. But for the time being, know that our convergence would happen sometime in another month. Now, if we go below this horizontal line here, well, I have to say we're kind of in trouble. There we go. Now I could probably move it. So we want to make sure that, okay, we can't move it. Anyway, point being that sometime between now and this time, August 26th, we are going to find out. We could break sooner, upward, beyond, or below this. Now, I have a couple of potential entry points I want to talk about. Let's go into the graph relative to Bitcoin. So looking at this, clearly, this seems to be the area. Seems to be. There's always a seems to be because nothing's sure, right? I've also redrawn this here because we've hit it quite a number of times that it makes it a valid trend line. This truly makes it a valid resistance line since February, reminding you that this has been over 5 months in the making. Okay, so this is certainly going to resolve one way or the other as well. Very similar to the prior diagram. And if you look over here, same time frame, August time frame. Now, it might be interesting to take, if I was going to go in at 50%, I would probably start right around here in the 1490, 1500 level. But again, there's a couple of things that I want to talk through. I wouldn't go in right now until I see some resolution on Bitcoin. And if I look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's right now 29,709. So looking at this resistance line, this has been going on since the middle of June. So that's about a little over a month. We can't get past this for some reason or other. We can't get past this yellow line. Something's going to blow over the next couple of weeks. And I don't know if it's going to go past this resistance line on the way up or if it's going to go down. Now, you can make a case, where how far down could it go? Well, I don't know the exact answer to that. But, a lot of people are saying 26,000. Look, I don't know. What I can tell you is I'm going to take a look at another chart. And I want to explain to everyone the concept of Bitcoin dominance. But before doing so, just recognize that we have had a Bitcoin halving about a year ago or so. And that basically means that a year after, things kind of level off with the Bitcoin world, right? So it's been about a year after. So now things might be cooling down. In addition to that, we also have what's called Bitcoin dominance. Now take a look at this Bitcoin dominance. Now, if you can look at the 50 level, when we were about the last time we were at 50, which was right around here, it was around the beginning of May. The beginning of May, let's just call it, right? And that's when we went below that Bitcoin dominance, right? So let's take a look at Bitcoin's price in dollars. Now, what we can find out here is that the beginning of May was when we were up here, and then we started going down too. So that kind of gives you a tell. I'm not the first crypto analyst to point out Bitcoin dominance being over 50 is healthy for the overall crypto market, but I think that's in fact very, very true. So what we want to see here is for us to come back up over this star, and then I think we would be better off across all of the altcoins as well as Bitcoin itself. I think it's a health indicator to some degree. You want one main currency out there that people can feel comfortable with the rest of the market tracking. When everything starts breaking down into smaller micro caps and it's harder to know who the leader is, it gets a little more discerning. It gets a little more concerning, I should say. So that's what we have to look out for. We want this thing to go up. We want a healthy, strong Bitcoin, a leading token. It is a store of value. We need a leading store of value. All these other things have too many use cases with it. This one for me has only one, and it is store of value. Digital gold, think of it that way. Let's go into the graph news real quickly so that everyone knows the graph community talk. There's a big one coming up a week from now at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard. I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern if you're on the East Coast in the U.S. and in the rest of the world. I'm not sure. I can't convert right now, but just know that these are kind of the topics. They want to talk about new grants that they're giving, our requests for proposals out there, council meeting recaps, and all sorts of stuff. Governance updates, one I'd be particularly interested in, and just a general Q&A. I think it's good for people to go in there, and they're kind of inviting everyone, whether you're technical, non-technical, but investor, non-investor, staker, non-staker. I think it's good for you to get involved. I could share the link. I'll put it out there. Another point I want everyone to understand is that, I think last week or a couple of weeks ago, I brought up the fact that Streaming Fast is coming in to help aggress or accelerate the journey of the graph adoption as well as the graph infrastructure, and making sure that they have a proper They have the proper capacity as well as the marketing and all aspects of, what makes the graph really compelling, which is, a decentralized index where you have data being accessed all through the network. Very important here. They have been hired by the graph to specifically help grow the community of indexers, grow the community of end users, get more applications feeding end user experience through the graph, and grow the list of supported networks and protocols. These guys are the guerrilla warfare, hands dirty on getting this bull together. Basically saying that, these people all have different experiences. And if you look at what they actually do, they're a protocol infrastructure company that provides massively scalable architecture for streaming blockchain data, which is exactly what the graph needs. So I think that's great that they brought these big wigs, these C-level executives coming in to help really, put this thing back on its tracks, force the adoption of this thing, and get it into the powerhouse that the graph deserves. Anyway, I'm out. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.